Hello, Kemi.
Yeah,
Chioma, your hand is raised.
yeah, we raised it
Yeah,
so that Olaomi knows who to take off the call and who not to. That's why we raised it. But we'll lower it now.
Can I see what you've got, guys, please?
I'm sharing it. Can you see it?
Oh, no, not yet. Okay, I can see it now.
So this is the 3-stage project framework that we had worked on, and then so just showing you the next bit. Okay, so this is the 3-stage, 3 phases that we had worked on, and then the next bit is the 4 stages that we had also worked on.
I'm listening. Okay. This is can I see what you, okay. I want to be able to see the deliverables we have in there. So should we quickly go through the one for 3 stages? What are the deliverables we have in it?
Yeah, so the 3 stages, so we have initiation phase, so UX, so scope statement, UX, UI research, feasibility study, business case, persona, stakeholder identification, assemble team, project charter, backlog, product backlog building, sprint planning, sprint iteration, product backlog building, we've repeated that, governance, controls, and reporting setup. Then the second develop and release phase, we have our prioritization, product backlog prioritization refinement. We also have our build environment where we do the testing, the UAT, then our SIT, our quality testing, sprint reviews and demos, client feedback, and retro, risk mitigation, impediment resolution, stakeholder and communication management, and then our process improvement plan, our PIP. And for the deploy and close phase, we have our product launch, analyze and summarize key results, plan next step, project retrospective, archive documentation, and celebrate achievements.
Okay, we spoke about initiation last Tuesday. We spoke about that word, initiation. It seems you guys really like the word initiation, right? We were talking about it, and I was asking, why do we have initiation instead of discovery phase? Based on the fact that what you're working on is in Agile, and in Agile, we don't usually want to use the word initiation because initiation means you are initiating the project. But we're not initiating projects. In the context of Agile, what we're doing is we want to know why we can justify that that project is good and we keep working on it. It's not the same as in initiation. In waterfall setting, what you normally find many times is people just gather by coffee shop, 2 people, 3 people, they know themselves. They just say, oh, there's this project we're working on. If you guys can take it up and things like that. And then they initiate it. And then that's when they now start to plan and assemble and or whatever the second stage. Sometimes after the initiation, they then start to think of, okay, how do we work this out? How do we make it work? But in Agile, in fact, in some settings, you would have Lean Inception workshop. Have you heard that before, guys? You've heard Lean Inception workshop before. Anyone?
No.
Okay. You might need to read up about that. When we say Lean Inception workshop, it's like a place where different people meet, the stakeholders, that's the business, the technology people, the the sponsor, and the users. So many times, this is where we come up with what we call MVP. So rather than us building everything, we come up with what we call MVP, which is, you know what that means, minimum viable product. So that's why you find that some people try to run away from using the word initiation, especially when we want to talk in agile terms. Does that make sense? Is that clear? Or do you need me to? Yeah, I believe that should be very straightforward. All right. Now, the other thing that I want us to also look at, to talk about, is what we have here. We spoke about the scope statement, UX, UI, research, and all sorts, and product backlog. Here, I cannot see your persona definition. Okay, I've seen it. I've seen it. It was just hiding. Persona definition. So why do we have persona definition, customer identification? Why do we have that? What do we do with persona? Why do we have business case, get approval? What you're saying is for all these things, we must get approval for all of it, right? We don't need to really make that a stage, because that's something you just present, and perhaps you present it, and if your stakeholders are happy, that wouldn't take a day. It wouldn't take, it's the preparation of it that will take time. Getting approval for it, presenting it to get approval shouldn't take forever, should it? So why do we have business case at the top and we now have project charter at the bottom here? Why? Now, I've explained the difference between business case and project charter to some of you. I'm not sure if it's not all of you that were on the call on that day. You might need to go and listen again to the video, but I've explained to you, when we have project charter is specific to your project. When we talk of business case, it stands for the program, because the entire program needs to have a justification for carrying out that program. And that day I gave you an example of a building. You want to build a house. There are various projects within it, but you need to have a justifiable business case for the house itself, for the house you're building. Now, we would have project charter for the electrical work. We would have project charter for the plumbing work. We may have project charter for the bricklaying, or for the flooring, or for the plastering. You can see there are so many for the roofing, for the windows. We could have project charters for that. All right. So there is no need for us taking it too far apart from themselves. Okay. So, and some of the things we have, the cost and resource plans and things like that. Well, nothing is wrong with this, because either you like it or not, you still need to plan. But we can bring it, we can separate it. Project charter, there's nothing called project charter or PID. Why do we have project charter or PID, guys? Why? Why? Talk to me. Why is it project charter or PID?
So that it would be dependent on the size of the project, because your PID usually has more information than the charter, and larger size the projects would tend to have a PID with more info than a charter. So
Okay.
that's why we put it there, that it's going to be one or the other.
Okay, that's why it's important for us to understand that project charter is not PID.
Okay.
Your PID is, project initiation document. And within your PID, you have other things. your PID is like a folder. Your PID is not just a document, it's a folder. Within your PID, you would have your communication plan, you have your risk management strategy, you have da 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 da. Your PID is like you are saying, this is how I'm going to manage this project as a project manager. Does that make sense? But you keep it to yourself to be guiding you. Now, while project charter states what you want to achieve, the few people that will do things there. And so your project charter does not have details of what your PID has. But what we do in Agile is rather than having PID in Agile, you find that many organizations just chunk the project charter, because project charter in some organizations wouldn't be more than 2 pages. And while some could be up to 5 pages or 10 pages. But we don't need project charter to be voluminous. Business case, yes, because there are loads of details that needs to be there. So when you say project charter or PID, then you are saying business case or PID. Does that make sense, Kemi?
Yes, it does.
So it's important we know that there project charter it's a part of it's a fragment part of business case. Does that make sense? But
Yes.
your PID is not a fragmented part of your business case.
Yeah.
Okay. So you just look into that, your governance, within your governance, well, you've agreed on the framework. So then you go to develop and release. You develop, is it just develop or okay, you have the test in there as well, right? You just didn't capture it on the heading, correct?
Yes.
So why do we have incremental deliverable development? What do we mean by that? What's the difference between that and what are we saying there? Talk to me, guys. Don't keep quiet. Keeping quiet is not helpful for me.
Oh, okay. So we'll try to capture the actual development of the increment.
Okay.
That's what we're trying to describe with that wording. Maybe it's not the right wording, but that's what we're trying to describe.
Okay, I get you now. So,
Yeah.
but since we've put it there to say develop tests and release, that's what we're doing. I think what we just need to do there is to emphasize the fact that we'll be planning, all right? We'll be having daily stand-up, and then we'll be having review and then retrospective. Correct?
Okay, yeah.
Huh? So rather than us, we don't need to, because that's not a face. Is it a face?
No. Okay, we don't distinctly need to call it out the way we've done.
Yeah, you don't have to do that. All right. So, okay, well done, guys. I'm happy you've done some of these things, and nobody can take it away from you anymore. So in the deploy and close phase, what do we have in the deploy and close phase? You've run off on that. Product launch. So do we just launch products? Is that what you're saying? Guys? Answer me. Can you hear me? Hello, guys.
Yes, we can hear you, Femi.
So why are you quiet? All right.
I can hear you, so the audio should be fine. But yeah.
So when you talk of analyze and summarize key results, what are you talking about here? The benefit review plan. Is that what you're saying? Are you analyzing your benefit review plan or whatever? You haven't got that benefit review plan captured anywhere. Because if you want to analyze that here, it must be that you've done the benefit review somewhere before you get to the last stage. You can't be you can't be analyzing what you haven't even planned. You must set a target. Is after you've set a target, you later want to check, did we meet the target or not? That's what you want to do there.
But wouldn't that be if you've done your business case or your charter, you would have put in some, some sort of metrics or something to indicate that yes, the product you've launched meets certain criteria to return on your investment. So you could be analyzing those after you've launched. You would do some analysis that is the product performing as expected, and you'd be doing that before you finally close off, in case you have to capture anything else to hand over to another project, perhaps. That was the thinking.
Fantastic. Okay, good. What you've asked is good. That's a good question. But our business case is not the benefit review plan and is not the product benefit review, as we will call it in Agile. In Agile, when we talk of product benefit review, we capture that separately apart from the business case, separate from the business case, because this is what we are using to be able to justify, the expectations from the product. And I'm sure none of you has done that before. It's part of the things you need to learn to do. Now, when we do our product benefit review, what you want to do is you want to say, when we launch this product, you would have done your own research, you would have done your homework, and you want to project to tell business that when you launch this product, after 6 months of the launch of this product, you would make XYZ amount of money, or you will gain XYZ amount of customers, or you will retain XYZ amount of loyalty. But it's not every benefit that can be captured monetarily. Why is that? Why is it
intangible?
Fantastic. Some benefits are intangible. It seems Kemi is the only one in the class with me. How come others are not talking? Some benefits are intangible. Give me an example of intangible benefits that we get from product.
If the product has a website element, perhaps, or on mobile, if it's an app, it could be the user experience. Something like that. I'm not quite sure.
Okay, if you say user experience, what would that do for us? So you're talking of not
understanding how they are interacting with the product.
No, you want to say they would have better user experience, right? Yes. And if they have better user experience, what does that do for us?
They are more likely to convert and buy your product.
Exactly, because that's our target of doing a project. I'm not going to do a project because I just want somebody to enjoy himself. It must be that there is something in the Western world, if they lie to you, anything is free. Nothing is free, right? If we give you 20% off, there's a reason we're giving you 20% off. If they tell you this thing, get it for free, there's a catch somewhere. All right? So if we give you better experience, better user experience, we're not giving you better user experience because we're very kind and very nice. We're giving you better user experience because we want you to stay with us. Because we want you to recommend us for other customers, other users like yourself. Because we want to make better money later. Because we know that once you like what you've seen and you enjoy it, it will be easy for you to do what? To recommend us. And it would not be difficult for us to retain you as well. Do I make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there are benefits that you might not be able to capture monetarily, while there are some, but normally, you know, people want to look into it monetarily. So business case is separate. Our project charter is separate. And review of the benefit of the product is also a different thing. It's just that when we've reviewed it, we might incorporate it into our project charter. But that doesn't mean project charter is a benefit review. Does that make sense?
So you need to have your, almost like your benefits plan, your metrics and everything that you would use to track the performance afterwards, once the
Yes,
product goes to market.
exactly. It's the best way to do it. You've got to have it. If you don't have it, well, I mean, this is gold that you're learning, because a Scrum Master doesn't understand that. Do you understand what I'm saying? And these are part of the key things that a delivery manager must know. Okay?
Okay.
Project retrospective. I wouldn't put it, I corrected this last Tuesday. I wouldn't put it as project retrospective. You can look for something else to, retro is okay, nothing is wrong with that. Now, you haven't gotten customer feedback. Before you launch a product, there are stages that you need to go through. All right? We have a process of launching product, but that's not why we're here. Okay? But for this product launch, before you do product launch, where's your UAT? Quality testing, then UAT. I don't understand. You can't have quality testing UAT. I corrected this on Tuesday. You have it, then after that, you are now having sprint review, demos, client feedback, retrospective. I don't understand that. All you just need to put here is the ceremonies that need to be there, or the events. UAT would need to come before you do your product launch. UAT is not here. UAT is after you finish everything that has to do with your development and you've done your system integration testing. So for deploy and release is after you've done your deploy and release and you've done whatever you need to do, that you can do your SIT. And then you do UAT, which is user acceptance testing. Does that make sense?
So I've got a question on that, Femi. So let's say you break it, you're delivering and you're going to develop, let's say, like 9 different increments. You're going through your sprints, you're developing them, it's all going well.
Mm-hmm.
Do you do the SIT when all 9 increments are built? Or
No,
do you do it at each one?
You have to be testing as you're going on.
Each one, okay.
That's the difference between Agile and Waterfall. Waterfall will wait till the end. We don't do that in Agile. You will be testing as you're going on. Every sprint, you test to be sure you haven't broken anything.
Okay.
But when you finish everything, you still need to do SIT again.
To
You've
test
been testing,
everything to be
then you
sure.
need to run it through end to end.
Okay.
And it's after you've run it through end to end that you can put it maybe in pre-prod. Is whatever it is that you know that is ready, that is in a clean environment, you want to try it for UAT. You don't give dirty environment to users to test. Otherwise, users will reject, they will refuse your product, or they may reject your product, or it may be difficult for you to get buy-in. Many of the people you would ask to come and do UAT are very busy people, but they just create time because they are interested in the product, because we've told them it will make their lives better. If they now come and they are testing the product and the product is making things difficult for them, they would recommend to their bosses and their leaders that, you know what, that project is a waste. We don't need it. Then you struggle to get buy-in from your stakeholders. Do that make sense to you?
Yes, I understand now. Thank you.
Let's go to the other one. Last 4 phases. Hurry up, guys. Who is presenting? Where is the one that has 4 phases in it?
I'm trying to move the slide. One moment. Bear with me. I think my
No problem.
down. So I think my PowerPoint is frozen.
Okay. All right. I guess we'll see that later then. Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
I'll stop sharing.
you can stop sharing the one. I want to. So for today, as I said, we've gone through this before. I would want you guys to tell me what you've read about this, as I've requested. I want to know if you've gone through it or not. I was told I can't start sharing. You are still sharing.
Oh, sorry. I was just sharing the 4 slides. I don't know if you can see it. The 4 stages. I don't know if you can see
Okay,
it.
discovery, plan phase, develop and test phase, release and close phase. Okay, good. Good.
Yeah. Okay, I'll stop sharing so you can share.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes. Yes, we can.
All right. So when we talk of change management, what does it mean to you guys? When we say change management, what does it mean? I'm waiting. I'm listening to you guys.
I think when I think of change management, I think of like transformation and bringing about a process of change just so that it's done in a way that is not too fast for people, but in a way that takes everyone else along, so stakeholders and teams as well.
Okay, good. Anybody else? Well done. When we say change, what does it mean to you? I'm sure you all know by now that I don't like it when people keep quiet on me.
And I think of change management, I see it as how an organization goes about identifying, so just the process of identifying, agreeing, and trying to implement and embed changes to current work practices or how things are done in the company, but in a way that carries the people along on the journey with them, so that it's they get buy-in and it's accepted and it brings in efficiency. So the whole process of managing that through from beginning to embedding it into their systems, I see all of that coming under some form change management.
Good. That's good. Well done. So anybody else? Was it Chioma that first spoke, or was it you as well?
No, Chioma first, then Kemi.
Okay. Because some other people are just quiet. Okay, Isaac, finally. Is that Isaac, right?
Yes, it is.
Uh-huh. So
I'd
what
say
does change management? Mm-hmm.
Change management is simply a, let me say, strategy that will be implemented in order to create a change in an organization. So simply put, again, like the methods, the approaches, perhaps even some could argue it's a framework that could be applied in order to prepare, support, and to help teams. Could also be individuals or even organizations, to make a change, and it could be like changing processes. It could also be changing systems. It could be, whatever the company requires in order to achieve its goals in the short term and also in the long term. So yeah, change management is simply a model that will be applied to create change in an organization.
Okay, you've all said well. Well done, everyone. At least I could see you didn't forget the discussion we had before on this, so I'm very happy to hear that. Very well, very well. And the knowledge that some of you have gathered as well is also playing into this. Now, everything that you've said is correct. And whether you like it or not, when we talk of change, change is the only thing that is constant. If you don't change, change will change you. And like I said the other time when we went through this is why you see that some organizations would always be at the top, because the leaders have what we call the growth mindset, and they are always innovating. So when we talk of innovation, creativity, change, these are things that keep life going. So when we talk of change, just as you've said, there are different types of changes. And when we talk of organizational change, managing change within an organization is not the same as managing change within a project. I hope you understand that. So
Yeah.
there is the way we manage change in a project. There is a way we manage change in an organization. The one we're talking about now is the broad one, which is the organizational change. And I think, was it Kemi or Isaac? One of you said something very important. People. No matter how much we do with robots and all, we still need people. And one factor that can actually frustrate your change in life is people. Your resources are the people, your workers are people that can easily frustrate whatever it is you think, change that you think you are introducing. If they don't like it and they start to play against it, you are in trouble. You just put everything together, you do everything, but they will keep frustrating it. I'm not going to mention it. One of you here works with JLR, right? I know somebody on this call that works with JLR. But one of the things you would see is JLR, I think at some point, was going through a huge digital transformation initiative, which was a big change. When I was brought in to come and help, to come and do some things with them, I realized that the change that the leadership, that the organization was trying to introduce, the people under have not embraced the change. It's as though they were being forced, coerced to just get it done. So the buy-in wasn't, maybe it has changed now, I don't know, because that's a while ago. But the buy-in wasn't there. I only needed to ask a few questions. And I see that those people just, their response was, we're just doing it because we have to do it. It's not because we believe in it. And you can't blame these guys. These are guys that have been engineers for 32, 36 years, 20-something years. And you want to bring something new to them. You want them to start to work in an agile way, and you wouldn't manage it effectively. They will repel, right? The change. And the reason organizations don't joke with change is because this can cost them a lot of money. Something that could be achieved in 3 months could then end up taking 1.5 years or 2 years for the organization to achieve it. Why? Because the people have not bought into it. So that's why you see that we have change experts. If you go online, you see that there are roles for change managers. You have delivery managers, you have change managers, you have project managers. Why? Because change is important, is vital, is critical. And one of the first response you get from people when you introduce change to them, what is it? What do you first get from people when you introduce change to them?
Resistance.
Resistance. Even you resist. If there's a particular music that you've been hearing, they've played it in a particular way. If somebody else comes to play the same music to you, but changes the style or something, what do you think would come within you?
The question, why did you change it?
Exactly. And within you, there will be you'll be rebelling to say, what is this? I don't like this. Da, 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 da. Do you know why? You haven't heard it enough. Just listen to it again and again and again and again and again and again. Your system gets used to it again. All right? But if you throw it away immediately, oh, I don't want this, then you would never like it. So that's why we have many frameworks. And as Isaac said, Isaac spoke about framework. Yes, we have framework for managing change. So this is one of the frameworks for managing change. I didn't create this. A man called John P. Carter, that I said, created this. And he gave us how many stages? Can you see here, guys? Talk now.
8
8.
stages.
Ah, jeez. Why are you guys so quiet?
It takes a few seconds to press the mute button.
8 stages.
8 stages, yeah.
Ah, I haven't got the time.
It's because you're off mute, Femi. We have to unmute. It takes a few seconds, but it's 8 stages.
Okay.
8 model.
Okay. All right. So when you look at it, we have to take it from the bottom to the top. What he's saying here is for any change to be effectively managed and for us not to cause chaos, for organization to be able to achieve what they plan, their overall business strategic goals. They've got to manage whatever it is they are doing. They've got to manage the change effectively. Maybe your organization is planning a digital transformation initiative. Maybe they've been working on documents, on papers, and things like that. And now they don't want to work on papers anymore. They want to start to use tools to do it. They've got to manage that change effectively. And there are so many things that they've got to do if they are going to be successful. Because, for example, let's say you are working in insurance. How many of you know insurance? You know about insurance. How many of you? Anyone here? All right.
Yeah.
So who are the people that handle insurance for us?
Underwriters.
The underwriters and the actuaries, isn't it? Right? Right? So you talk of the underwriters will write it, they go through it, and they give it, and the actuaries can actualize things and make it real for us, right? At the end of the day, giving you conclusion, giving you judgment, it works, it's not going to work, you're eligible, you are not eligible. Now, with underwriters, you've seen underwriters working, right? They carry folders, they carry all sorts of things, isn't it, right?
Yeah.
So if we want to put all of those things, we want to say to them, don't carry folders, don't carry bags anymore. Traveling by, loads of files. No, 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 no. Let's put everything, let's use a tool. Let a tool help you to be able to capture all of those things. Because they are used to it, it's a burden, what they've been carrying, but because they are used to it, they will still fight. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Okay.
Because they are so used to the way they work, because they can easily say, you know what, I understand my paper, give me that folder, I know what is there. Da, 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 da. Because they are used to that, the fact that you want to introduce something new to them, they will still resist to tell you, you know what, the idea sounds logical, it sounds good, but how am I sure I'm not going to make mistake? When I start to calculate, I don't want to make errors. I don't want anything that will cause trouble for me. Those are the fears you'll get from them. And that's what you get from anyone. So for us to effectively introduce a change to an organization, the first thing is for us to create urgency. We need to create the urgency. Why is it urgent? Why is this change very urgent? And then we form a powerful coalition. All right?
Mm-hmm.
We form a powerful coalition once we've created urgency and we see few people, it's only few people that you may get eventually that will buy into it initially. But you want to form a powerful coalition with them. And then from there, we're able to create a vision for that change. All right? So after creating the vision, we start to communicate it, and then we empower action to be able to carry it out. Then we then use like a pilot. We then use maybe a few people or a group or a team as a quick win to say this thing is possible. What we're trying to introduce is possible. Look at it. Team ABC have done it successfully. So once we get that, then we start to build on that change, and then we make it to stay and stick. Next Tuesday, maybe we'll try to break this down more and be able to explain it better to you, all right? But like I said, if you look at it, there are different types of changes, right? You have the individual change management, you have the organizational change management, you have the enterprise change management. And you also have the project management change project process.
Okay.
Is that
Does that make
different?
sense? That's different.
Okay.
When we talk of the project, your project itself, if there is a change, for example, if your product owner introduce a change, would you say you want to create urgency for change? Would you say you want to form a powerful coalition? You've planned, you want to do something, but your product owner comes and say, guys, sorry, we change of plan. We cannot build what you were supposed to build. This is what we're going to build now. Would you be creating urgency for changing that?
Mm.
Because creating urgency for change is for organizational, it's not for particular project. But when you want to capture the one for project, it's different. So what you want to do is to describe the change first. You want to know who requested the change. And then you capture the impact of that change and the priority of that change. Does that make sense? So that's not the same. This framework is different to when you are introducing change to an organization. Kajiko? Does it make sense?
Because you understand, isn't it?
Do you understand? Yeah. So you say Naji. Huh?
Okay. Naji.
Naji. Yeah. You've got for male, you've got for female, right?
That's
All
how.
right.
That's Hausa, yeah. Hausa.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the homework for you guys is for you to come back to give me types of changes that we have. But before you even stress yourself with that, I need you to read up about this. You will see that there are 3 blocks in these 8 levels, 8 stages of change. You have the one where we create the climate for change. And that's where you are creating the urgency, forming those are part of creating a climate for change. We want to make the environment conducive for change. And then you go to the second block where it's engaging and enabling the organization before you get to the last one where you are implementing and sustaining the change. Okay?
Thank you.
Make sense?
We just read up
Yeah.
on that and understand the model more.
Yes.
Okay.
Read up on it, understand it more, and then I need you to be able to understand the difference between the individual change management and organizational change management, and perhaps when you talk of enterprise and project, what does it mean? Read up on it as well.
Okay.
Any question?
No, not from me.
Have a good evening, guys.
Thank you, Femi. Have a good evening
You're
too.
welcome.
You have a good evening.
Thank you. Good evening.
Sorry, guys, before you leave, actually. Right. So, yeah. So all these things, I just want to ask if you've been implementing it in your team, right? Even I like the PowerPoint about the stages, right? So as we know that the project is kind of rounding down or rounding up or wrapping up. Yeah. So, and like I said, you guys you are pivotal for this later part of the project, right? So you need to bring your A game within your team anyway. Yeah. So if that's okay. Any question on what you
Yeah.
do? Any
So
question?
what did you mean, Deji? Sorry, what did you mean?
What did I mean?
Yeah.
Does anyone understand what I meant or what I said?
Yes, you said the project is coming to an end. You first asked if we are implementing what we've learned, perhaps the change management today, and if we are going to be implementing it in the team, and for us to understand that we are instrumental in this last phase of the project, to
Thank you.
be able to make the team achieve the goal.
Okay, yeah, exactly. That's it. Thank you so much, Isaac. So do you want to answer it?
I'm sorry?
Do you want to answer it? Do you want to give me a response on that? You've
Okay,
kind of done what I said anyway.
okay. Do I want to? Yeah. So yes.